Welcome to our Component Spotlight video. In this Component Spotlight, I'm going to be breaking down our sound component for you. So our sound component can be found in our media section of our palette. So let me drag and drop our sound component into our viewer. And you'll notice when I do, it appears under our non-visible components. So what exactly does our sound component do? Well, as you probably have guessed, our sound component allows us to play sound. What you might not have guessed though is that our sound component allows us to vibrate our phone as well. So actually, there's another component that does the exact same thing as our sound component that I want to go over, and that's our player component. So if these two components do the exact same thing, our sound and our player component, when should we use which? Well, App Inventor 2 tells us that our sound component should be used primarily for shorter sounds, things like alarms and beeps. Our player component should be used for longer sounds, things like songs, right? Great. So now let's go over a few properties for our sound component. The first property I want to go over is our minimum interval property. So this looks a little confusing. Let me break it down for you. Our minimum interval essentially is a time in milliseconds that we want to ignore further play calls once we've played our sound. So let's say we played a beep sound, right? And then we try and play our beep sound again right after our play sound. First, it's going to say, okay, once you played that beep sound, how long should I wait before I allow another play sound to happen? If I said something like 2000 milliseconds, if you tried to play another beep sound a second after, it would ignore it. Great, so I hope that makes sense. Our source property allows us to just set the sound that we want to play. Well, you might be asking, okay, what sound files can our sound component accept? Well, I have a site here that shows us. So I'm just going to scroll down real quick so you can see. You're going to look at the right side. So things like MPEG-4, we have 3GP, FLAC, MP3 is another one you might be familiar with, WAVE, right? I'm just going to kind of scroll down and you guys can kind of review the video at your leisure. Great. So those are our two properties I wanted to break down. Now let's go into our noteworthy blocks. So I'm going to click on our sound component. So all these are pretty self-explanatory. We can pause, play, resume, stop, and as I said, vibrate our phone, right? So all these are for the sound, all these top four, and then this one is for our vibration of our phone. We give it the amount of milliseconds we want our phone to vibrate. So those are our noteworthy blocks. We went over our noteworthy properties, and I broke down that sound component for you. That's going to do it for this video, guys. I'll see you in the next one.